Hi everyone, welcome back to Taptap Gamer. I'm very happy today to announce another account in my Account Takeover Series. And today we're going to be looking at Ping's account. Thank you Ping for sharing with me so that we can review a little bit. I'm going to be going through a few things in this video which I think are going to be very helpful for this account. And specifically we're starting off here with Guild. And I'm just taking a look here. Yes, so for Guild Tech there is substantial upgrading still to be done. And so that should be a focus. I know with Guild, sometimes the Guild points in specific are the roadblock. We also tend to need over 1 million plus Guild coins in order to level up Guild Tech completely, plus the millions of gold that are required. So you can focus on what's in your bag, and in this case we have mages, assassins, warriors, clerics, so you have a good range here of heroes, so it makes it a bit harder to level up Guild Tech. So what you can do is just focus on one that you're going to be using a bit more longer term. It's always difficult to say in a game like this, but there are some heroes that are going to be meta for a while, and those tend to be assassins and warriors and sometimes clerics, so I would focus on that in those areas. Loving the veg skin here. It would be cool to see a veg ever comes back into the meta, but as of right now I would advise the plan would probably be to convert veg at some stage to potentially Arwen. And Heaven here, looking through the bag, we need to work on some Heaven heroes. I think Skald is a priority there. Great to see you have Nyx already on the way, so focus on bringing Nyx up because he is also very helpful for PvP and PvE. I'm not seeing any cosmics, so that would be a big priority for next heroes because they make a significant difference, specifically Cosmic Freya, which I don't see copies of in your bag. And so the Cosmic Freya would be great to start developing. I also have a video which I recommend watching about how to get free copies of Cosmic Freya with advanced wheel spins, so definitely check that out. For the rest of your bag here, a little thin, but that's expected as free to play. And so we would focus on trying to build up some resources in terms of heroes, copies, and who we can get access to a bit more easier. And from here we can see as well, great addition of flags. You've got 2,000 in your backpack. Got an awesome old event currency, which is always fun to see. Red cans here, we also need to get those up, specifically with Galileo in mind, with a long-term T4 Cosmic project. So that will be one thing I'll be focusing on in advance, trying to get those red cans built up. 42 redstones, awesome. That'll be great for gear, longer term to get to Genesis 2 gear. Just having a browse through as well. Great to see things like pickaxes, always good to have a head start in events. For wheels, a little low, so I would be storing those for an event spin where we have Arwen as a reward. Dog snacks, great to see 53,000, those will really come in handy. Got lots of flags left over as well in addition to the convertible ones, which is awesome. Good to have blue rune stones. For books here, I always recommend using up all of your books. There could be an update a long time away, but that's up to the development team. But these should be used up so that you can get some extra resources. I'm loving seeing the gold here. It's always awesome having 400,000 plus gold souls. So those should be definitely well utilized to develop the right heroes. And you've got Goblin Slayer coins left over, which is great. You can be using those in the future. We take a look at your artifacts. Loving this M3 Mage. This is great for bosses, particularly the new pet boss that gives out really important pet souls that are much needed, so it's good to see that. I'm loving the giant lizard, that's useful until you get stronger artifacts. Star shards really important, so it's even suggested to purchase star shards through the Moon store because that is really essential for early heroes that need energy. For now, I would be prioritizing hero copies versus artifacts, just because we need to strengthen your hero base. These are also going to be dropping like crazy once you get to higher levels. That will take a year or so, but they really are a great source of gold, as you can see here. At higher level accounts, you're selling those 3-star oranges because they just drop that much where you can afford to sell them. Looking at your keys, I would say with 300, the temptation is always to pull. I would say don't pull. Try to store up to 2050 gold keys, so that when you have a meta hero come out in both the up chest and the event hero, that will be a priority to pull. And something like Chazlon, I anticipate coming up pretty soon. So I'll be focusing on thinking about pulling 2000 keys for Chazlon so that you can convert one of these to T5 reds. We've also got awesome room upgrades already on Detlef, who is quite useful early on because he's very hard to kill, but his utility kind of decreases over time, and with such leveled up rune, you'll be a great convert into a Chazlon. So copies there would be priority. And converting is pretty simple from here. And it's awesome that you've got 26 Phoenix Stones. Those will come in handy as we strengthen your team to match what's meta currently. Veg would also be using some of those to convert to R1. Taking a look at your market. For guild, I always recommend uploading guild tech first, but sizer copies are awesome to purchase through the guild shop, and I actually have a video on making T5 red as part of the Account Takeover Series as well, so you can check out how much you estimate to spend on sizer copies there. And from the other side, this is not always as useful, but for luck, this is also a source of R1 copies. There's a video on how to expect to find them in the market for luck shop, as well as how much it costs to purchase them, but it also takes some time to store up luck coins. Stars, definitely be pulling advanced wheel for those. Little short on souls as expected in a free-to-play account, so unless it is a meta hero, somebody like Koshka, which we recently had, or somebody who's coming up, I'll be focusing on just skipping those for now, because you do need to reach the hero fusion requirements. That's also something that's quite underestimated for free-to-play players and low-level players, is that you do not get as many shards to be able to meet the new fuse requirements for 55 stars, which I'm a big proponent of. I love that update, but it's not easy to meet, so inventory management and backspace management is really key to consistently meeting fusion requirements. Also, Moonstones here tend to be a little low, so priority is to save these as much as possible from event poolings, because they help us purchase meta heroes, and also your cosmic stars are a priority, so be saving those from upcoming events to focus on building Cosmic Freya. Checking out the Gates of Exotica. From your boss skill damage, you're ranking top 50. This is something I recommend all players to take quite seriously, because these little golden vials are so essential to leveling up your pets that they can be game changers both for PvE and for PvP. So looking at your pets here as well, I recommend focusing on Frida. She is the PvE queen until you can unlock Galileo. She is also PvP essential for mid to low end players, because she can help change the game after round 3. And those golden vials are essential here. So I would start on this level up. Red cans are going to be a bit of a bottleneck for you here, as for most players, but focusing on getting those through advanced wheel spins is probably the most efficient way. But you can focus on trying to always stay in the top 50 for now. Detlef is a great single target damage hero at low end, but having your T5 Red Ripper will also help you achieve that damage. So if we play around a little bit here, you can see that Veg is a crit damage buffer, and Isabella is supposed to help a little bit with boss damage. At low level, she's probably not going to be as useful, but you can have some fun trying out different styles, and once you're upgrading a bit more, you can see what works well for boss damage. You always have to kind of repeat this a little bit to see what goes well. I recommend having a Nox or some other Android platform that can help you sort of automate this. That's also a fun way to do it. Not so tedious, but have some fun with this. I mean, that's the whole point of having this boss. It's the first time we have a boss where you're able to just attack repeatedly with no cost and just trying to rank up. So that's always a fun thing to do. Just going through your territory, I would say this all needs to be maximized. I'm actually going to I'm going to do that for you here, because this is going to help you get more wood, which you need for the upgrades. You can actually see you've got quite a bit of wood stored up, so definitely want to be leveling all of these workshops and sources of resources, because you're losing out every minute of every day that you don't do this. So everybody should be maxing their wood first and then moving on to other components as you prioritize. For your start temple here as well, this needs to be, as soon as you have gold, needs to be upgraded, because this is the source of incredible stats improvements. As you can see here, you get speed. You also get your HP and attack buffed on both ends of your heroes, because this is split by faction. So the recommendation for all players is to prioritize your start temple upgrades, then probably move on to guild tech after that, just because of the significant impact that both of those things make. Definitely want to be saving up cosmic cubes, waiting until you get 100, because then we get the moonstones from that. 100 cubes takes a long time, but play synthetic brawl. I have awesome videos that showcase specific characters that you can pick to help you get through it and how to maximize your score. Also have videos where you have over 13,000 points, so check those out. Whether you're experienced or not, it's great to see what kind of heroes work and which don't. Back to the market here, I often recommend every day automate purchasing 500 gold souls. If you have excess gems, I'd be recommending the cubes, just because cosmics is so important. Also, please feel free to hit the subscribe button below and share out the video with other free-to-play players. I'm sure that everybody's looking for some guidance on what to prioritize, especially when resources are so strapped. So please feel free to share. Also, if you're interested in being part of the Account Takeover Series, please drop a comment down below and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Back to the Moonstones, definitely going to be recommending Koshka as a Moonstone purchase. I've built 3 T5 reds of Koshka because she just is that much fun to play with, and she's also really essential for PvE. So whatever Moonstones are saved on this account, I'd recommend putting them towards Koshka, unless something stronger comes out like Chazlan. And for this specific account, because we have 2 T5 reds that are undead, Chazlan is probably going to be maybe a bit more of a priority, because he does help with PvP play, but there's a bit of a long way to go with storing up those moonstones. Another thing early accounts and free-to-play accounts tend to struggle with is hero fusion, and I definitely recommend trying to make a 10 star, because these 10 moonstones and 1000 gems are essential to helping you progress, because you can buy things like Chazlan and Koshka copies, so that's definitely a way to go. As I mentioned earlier, use up your books and definitely store things like 6 and 7 stars, because not only do you need them to complete the cycle every 2 weeks and get your extra moonstones from there, but there are also more frequent events lately that require you to use 7 stars. And if you don't have 7 saved up, you can sometimes not complete the event, which is also quite frustrating. So don't let your books sit idle. You should have about 40 to 50 6 and 7 stars just stored and waiting to go. Early accounts will also struggle to get advanced wheel tokens, but pulling at 180, extra moonstones, and progress towards red cans, which is just really essential. Always should be playing peaks, it's the best source of keys, and synthetic brawl is a must. You must play synthetic brawl for the cubes, and it's also a different way to play Taptap, and I recommend doing it. I have some cool synthetic brawl videos, you can check out that playlist, and a good way to just see what works, what doesn't, and how to get max points so that you can get those 7 cubes, and if you're lucky, even make the top 100 and get 10 cubes. I'm surprised to see such amazing progress from Den of Secrets, so kudos to Ping for making such progress with the limited bag capacity. And it just shows you that if you invest in the right type of stat improvements and making sure that your guild tick is up there, your star temple, and pets in particular are quite important, you can make a lot of PvE progress. And so my other account series with Flytime 88, that's a full breakdown on how you can really maximize step by step each component. And so I recommend just watching that playthrough to understand how that works out for pets, for what to prioritize given limited resources. And so this will help us push through things like Den of Secrets, Planet Trial, so that you can enter Abyssal and make more gold souls, which enables you to build T5 reds faster. Here I'm just playing around a little bit as well as we go, just to test different setups. I used to have a T5 red Deadlaugh when he was unkillable in honor. He was a bit of a troll hero, people just time out against him. And then we saw the phase come in where we went up to 20 rounds in overtime. And then Deadlaugh was basically became a bit more useless. But now he is still useful in early game because he's essentially unkillable for a while. And if he goes off, he can help you clear out different stages. So awesome to see the gameplay here. It's a throwback as well. Almost made it. We have to kill that Monkey King though in the revive. That's always the biggest hurdle in clearing those trials. Eyes are a little low, so we're gonna have to bring those up slowly and just not spend anything until you're able to pull 100. And even then I would suggest just holding back for S tier heroes, meta heroes, like Skull's gonna be important, Chazlon, so anything that comes up that's really useful. That's what I should be saved for. Even for newer heroes, I would be a little bit careful in pulling for them because we don't know if they're going to really help your team in any way. But most young accounts can really benefit from a strong PvE setup, which is why I recommend Arwen, Koshka, Chazlon, Saizu, who's a bit easier to get. I'm also just testing the team a little bit to see how far we can push through Planet Trial. It's going. Let's see if we can get through 230. I have a whole playlist for Planet Trial run-throughs because I love actually watching the teams come together and fight what are some of the toughest PvE opponents. And here we can see we got Deadlaugh and Ripper. Ripper is surprisingly awesome with his dodge. And we can see here that's actually what's keeping us alive. Here's the dodge. And 5-star Sigurd is sometimes MVP. So yeah, we cleared that. So kudos for Ping for getting really far. On the Account Takeover Series, I've actually been pushing to around 240 to 50 after significant upgrades with some mythic artifacts. So really well done. So it's awesome to see that you can actually make a lot of progress early on. And that's why this account also has so many flags. It's because we're able to clear Planet Trial early, which is what really should be a priority for a lot of young players, to make sure that you climb that ladder and you take advantage of all the other modes that offer things like gems as rewards. Here, sometimes with the Shadow Maze, it can really be tough to clear some of these opponents, and looking at these, it's a little ridiculous. That's a T5 raid Isabella. It's going to be hard to clear that until you build up your inventory, which is why it's so essential to have heroes that can push you through PvE content. Void Cage is another great example of this. If you have a good solid boss hero like Arwen or Saizo at second best, it will help you rank up, get better rewards from that, and that just helps you grow the account faster. From the look of these accounts, it looks like Ping's account is on a server that is quite old and that it has some players that have been around for a while. So it's always going to be a bit difficult to compete with people that have been playing for a long time or that have level 400 plus accounts if you're free to play. my advice is just to sort of take on the mindset of you're never really going to compete with the top 100 or top 10 players if you're on an old server where it's quite competitive and you don't have the resources to invest in building up as fast as them. So just enjoy the game for its PvE content, and you're able to play PvP against people in your own level. That's what the stratification in Brave League has been great at doing. So my advice is just to make the most of it that way and enjoy it. My thanks again to Ping for this account takeover special, and please leave a comment down below if you're interested in joining, and share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.